Okay, Orla.
Hello everybody, it's Valerie Wallace Fine Arts. Free drawing classes at 1 o'clock every day. Thanks for joining me. Get your pencil out and your piece of paper and you can do this. I swear you can do it. It's going to be super easy and it's going to be fun, and then you're going to be develop a new passion for drawing, for sure. Okay? So we're going to do the this crow. Usually I do this in the fall. It's very Halloween-y. But I am seeing a ton of crows out on these bare limbs around here, so I thought, you know, why not? It's a fun one. It is Sunday, May 3rd? 2nd?
Yeah.
3rd. Sunday, May 3rd.
Jenny Shamuel, Luis Garcia.
Luis! Jenny! Awesome. All right.
We got 5 people.
And so let's just jump right in, okay? All right. When we're looking at this, I was going to say turkey, crow, we want to break it down into different pieces. If you don't look at the beak and you don't look at the body, you see how this is just kind of a little hump, like an upside down U? Okay, we're going to start with that. Then we're going to put a piece on that's the body, which in a sense is just kind of an oval, all right? And then we're going to add on this little rectangle at the bottom. If it's a little on the slim side now, when we flesh it out at the, after we do our background, you can just kind of give them a little bit bigger shape. If you make it super big in the first place, then like the body's super big, the thing you kind of do is make the head bigger and then the body won't seem so big. But don't worry about that right now. We're going to start with this, and I want you to not, to just get it up in the upper part of your paper. If you put it here, you're going to not have much room for your bird, okay? Not at the top, but around here. Maybe a smidge to the right of your picture. I'm going to work with the chalk pastels today, and mostly just because I want to color this background in, and I don't want to have to color it in with an oil pastel. Okay? So when I go over here, don't worry about the beak. All right, we're going to blend that in, but you're going to start around here, and you're just going to make kind of like an upside down U shape. Okay? Super easy. You can do it. I know you can. All right, and I'm going to do one that's just with the black charcoal down here, and I'm going to use this orange to actually be my sun, probably. Not my sun, my moon. I'm having trouble already. All of a sudden, everything seemed to happen right 5 minutes before I was going to start. All right.
I should do my moon first, right?
No.
No?
No, stick with me. Okay. We're going to mark where I think about this part, you want to leave a little space for your tail feather. So obviously don't mark it here. I'm going to, like here, okay? So I'm going to go down maybe around here. If you make it short, you're going to have a short, fat little crow, all right? But you can always lower it. So right around here, like this. Okay, and then what you do is you just sort of round out to that dot, and then you round out the other way. All right? Mine's pretty wide here. That's okay. All right? It looks like, what does it look like? A Christmas ornament.
Oh, yeah. A dreidel.
It looks like a dreidel. Cool. All right, is this even?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. I got moving in the booth today. This is a fun thing to do with your family, but if you're not with your normal clan family, make sure you wear your mask, right? Be with your friends, right? And spread out. Okay, this is a rectangle. You can make it short, you can make it long, you can make it jaggedy on the end, you can make it just go straight across. This is always fun because the crows, they have so much different personality just by little tiny things that people do differently, so it's really, really cool. Okay? All right. I want to save the space for his beak. The thing that's going to happen with the beak, this one you can kind of even see it, is that part of the beak is white and then the moon is almost white, and so you lose the beak. And in reality, the beak would be, this would be in profile. This would be a profile. This would be a silhouette. So we are going to make our beak a little bit darker than what it is here. You're going to lose it. And depending on what color your paper is, if you're using a dark paper or something. The thing you want to see is that the beak comes right off the top of his head. If you stick it out of the side here, it's not going to look the same. All right? And also, it's pretty sharp. and it's not super thick. If you make it thick and you stick it out of the side of his face, he's gonna seem a lot friendlier and goofier, okay? I'm gonna try to do it with this pastel, because those of you that are doing it, I'm with you. I'm gonna support you by doing it too. So I'm gonna start way up at the very top, and I'm gonna make a line that comes out. Okay, the other thing I want you to notice is that the lower part of his beak is in his face. It's not just sticking out of the side of his head. So when you bring this back, if I curve it down just a tiny bit and I bring it back, I'm going to bring it onto his face like this and kind of connect up like that. And then what I'll do is I'll just get rid of that line a little bit. Okay? The other thing is that his eye is way up at the top of his head too. Unlike people's faces where the eyes are down lower. That's part of what makes him look mean. And it's not a ball, and so much as kind of a oval, or I'm going to make it a triangle. So I'm going to go like this, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like that. And that'll give me a little triangle, and it looks kind of big, but when I put the eye like near the front, and when I color it in, it's going to look a lot smaller. You don't need much white. Okay, it looks funny now, but it's going to be okay. Alright? The next thing we want to do is, I forgot to remind you at the beginning, but if you happen to have something round, run right now, grab a glass or a cereal bowl or the cap to yogurt. What's this a cap to? This is a cap to breadcrumbs, okay? And get one. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. Just freehand it. Part of it is because part of this moon, it's going to go behind his head. So you're not going to see the whole thing. So you don't, it's not like it's not as hard as having a really perfect round circle. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to choose the color that I want, either the color I want the sun to be or the moon to be, or if I'm going to use the paper, I'm going to use the color that I'm going to go around the outside. So I'm going to use like an orange to trace my moon. Okay? And what I want to do is I don't want to stick it like here. It's a little hard for you to tell, but that's sort of awkward. Like when you're done, you're going to have just kind of half moon over here. What this one is doing is kind of coming from the chest and having a little space all around its head. So if you have a smaller moon, you have to set it in a different place. But you just give it a guess. Okay? So I'm looking, it's at the shoulder and here. That'll probably work out all right. I'm going to go around that. Alright, like that. I'm going to do the beak down here. I'll do it a little bit different. I'm going to do a little shorter one this time, see how that works. Like I said, kind of a little triangle. Alright. And this one, I'm still going to use my orange, but I'm going to put a little black over it. So I'm going to still do a moon on top here. I finally said moon once.
Moon.
Instead of saying every time. Okay. If you have a colored piece of paper and say you want your sky to be orange, you can just color your moon in with some white or some kind of light color and just go with that. I'm going to actually darken the sky and leave my moon as orange. In this one, I'm going to put the orange on the outside. Maybe I'll even put some of the light color on the moon, although it's kind of the same thing. But all right, and I'm going to take these pastels, and this color in the orange in here is a little bit brownish, and so you might want to mix in a few other colors. Alright, and so I could put a little, I think I'll use a little sienna if I have it in there, which is the kind of reddish brown, sort of a brick brown. Let me see. There it is. Alright, because one of the things, when you do your picture, we sit down and you just want to do all the fun parts first. And then you wind up with a lot of, you can wind up with just a lot of sketches of something that you're never really going to do anything with, and they're not really finished because you didn't think about the background. So if you get in the habit of, even when you're kind of sketching, to think a little bit about how you would pull it all together in a full piece, then you never know. You might do a sketch that you're like, oh, this is awesome. I wish I'd like put it in the middle of the paper or something like that. So think about it. Because I wind up with my classes with, you know, crates full of paper. Like I use scrap paper for the kids to do their free drawing on. You know, and sometimes, I mean, to just, you know, doodle one little thing on. You have to have a clean piece of paper. I give them little scraps, that I cut off of paper and things like that. But, you know, they just, it's nothing. And they do tons of them. And then they're nothing. But it's like, why not make it into something? You know, paper is a precious resource. You can always flip it over if you don't like what you're doing. Try it again. Or if you've got a canvas, you can always paint over it. Use it again. That's a great thing to do.
Like I did to Daphne's tiny lady. You can still see her inside of my crow's body.
Yeah, sometimes you find some stuff you really don't need. You know you don't need them. Yeah, so I mix kind of a little bit of different shades in here. You could do it in stripes like a sunset. You could do it in blues and purples or whatever you want to do. Sorry. So that's done. I put a little, maybe this weird peachy color. Yeah. This is going to be a little tricky because I don't really want to get my black blended into it. But I probably will. I have to use my pinky. Get around this. I get pretty close to the subject, but not quite touch it because the black I'll probably, you know, go over the edge, the little white edge if I need to. There we go. There's that. All right, so down here, I take my black and maybe I want to go right around my moon, but I want it to not look like I just outlined the moon in black. I want it to look like the sun, the moon is a light object in the middle of a black sky, so I want to spread that out. But I also don't want to go too dark with the black because I'm going to have the bird, I want the bird to show, and I also want the limbs, they're kind of important, the twisted branches are kind of important. So put this on here, try to go lightly, but I'll probably take my eraser and lighten it up a little bit. So here's my kneaded eraser. So if you're using charcoal, the secret is get your hands on some kind of an eraser. And this is the kind that, you know, it's a little gray rectangle and then it looks kind of like clay once you use it. What do you need?
Nothing.
And, you know, it will never erase your charcoal like it was never there unless you did it very lightly or you used vine charcoal or willow charcoal, which is this wispy sticks that you might have, if you got a little kit of charcoal drawing materials, you might have gotten a piece of vine charcoal or willow charcoal, and it's almost like a burned piece of wood, a little tiny one, and it will, you can draw with it, but if you brush at it, it will just disappear. So you can't draw a picture with it because it won't stay, but you can use it to sketch out a charcoal drawing before you go on with the real stuff. And so that makes it, I'm pushing charcoal because it can get so much blacker than a pencil, and so there's a certain sophistication to that. But people hate to do it because they think that it's dirty, or you can't control it, you can't erase it, but there's some tools that you get that are like, oh, if I'd only known, this is not so hard. Okay, good? Alright, so the next thing I want to do before we forget are the feet, okay? So, what happens is, they're basically little boxes, okay? And they don't need to be tiny. If anything, your crow will be much more ferocious and fierce if it looks like has some good sized claws on it, right? Little teeny tiny baby claws don't make your crow look wicked, right?
Right.
Alright. So the thing is that the feet are probably somewhere in here, right, on the bird. They're not down here, so don't do it down here. You have to do it somewhere on its body. You probably wouldn't put him up there. That would mean he went like this and was holding the stick, which would be kind of weird. So they're down here, and these two are separated quite a bit. So I've got one, and I'm going to make a little box, like right about here. And then up a little bit from that, I'm going to make another box, because I'm going to have both of these feet, claws, on the same limb. All right? And what you do is you divide it into maybe 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know how many claws they have. And what happens is you kind of round the top like that. And you do that on each of the bumps. Don't worry if it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be kind of. And then really they would kind of point on the bottoms maybe, or rounded, if I had something like that. Okay, and I could guess. Blend those a little bit with my finger so they look a little gray. Okay? But by the time I color in around that, they're going to look a little smaller too, so don't be too skimpy with them. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing down here. Alright. And like that. Charcoal doesn't smudge. Doesn't these pastels are very, what do you call it? Dusty. They make a lot of dust. This doesn't so much, so if you can use a black charcoal, it would be easier. Alright. The next thing we're going to do are the branches, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll just flesh out all the black on the crow, okay? Because if we color the crow in now, and we have this stick that's going to go across between his feet, we have to add that on top of the black. That's not going to work as well. So whenever you can, think about on a drawing that you need to think about the things that are in the front and work your way back. Where if you're painting, you kind of kind of judge, put where things are going to go, and then work from the back to the front so that you're overlapping the paint. Okay, but you have to do them in different directions. All right. So I am going to take a dark brown, I guess. I thought I had one. Oh, maybe right here. No, sorry. Okay? We want, it needs to be dark. You want to be able to see the sticks and everything, but it doesn't have to be brown if you don't want to. You can make it purple, you can make it blue, you can make it green, okay? The thing is don't look at all of it. People might look at this and then they think, oh, I can't do that. They just think there's just too much going on. But really, you don't have to do any of these things up here that you don't want to. You have to give them something to stand on, but that's it. So what we have first, okay, let's just look here. First thing we have is a stick, a branch that goes across and behind his tail, okay? So you're going to come from here on the side, you bring a line over to the tail, and you just come out on the other side. And if I'm thinking that my tree is over here, then all of my branches are going to get skinnier as they get out to this side. So instead of making them get thinner, all I do is make them get thicker as they go back to the tree side, okay? So I can start here like this, and then as I get over here, I can make that a little bit bigger, all right? But so this one is going behind. You don't have to make the branches the way that they're made up here. It's just something to go by, okay? And some people will make 3 branches, and some people will make, 30 fine, craggy branches, and they, looks just really cool, but just 3 branches will do the trick too. Okay, so there's that. And then on this one, it has a little branch on the left side. This goes up, so I can do that. Bring this up here. And again, if I start here and I make it get a little bit wider as it gets towards the big branch, then it has that. And I always say that when you're doing a tree, you want to have at least 3 different widths of branches. So in a lot of cases that means the trunk is the thickest thing, and then you have some kind of medium-sized ones, and then you have some just like that you've colored in a little bit, and then you just have little wispy ones. And if you have a lot more in between, then all the better. But at least 3 different sizes. And sometimes if you're painting, the easiest thing to do is to just change brushes. Get a big one, and then use a medium one, and then use a tiny one, and you'll have your tree will look super cool. Okay? So I might want to accent maybe the bottom of this branch a little bit, like where away from the moon a little, so I'll take a little black with that, I guess. Why not? Here. So I'm using a piece of Canson, I don't know if that's how you say it, pastel paper. So it has a little tooth, so you can, I guess you probably can't see it, but it gives you there's a little something for it to hold on to the pastel. If you have a really smooth piece of paper, it's going to be all over the floor. Okay, alright. So now we're not thinking about this anymore, and we're not thinking about any of this stuff. I guess I'll go this way. We're just going to think about this line that's coming through here that goes through his feet. That's it, okay? And it branches off of this one here. So start in between his feet, his claws, okay? Because you know it has to be there. You know it has to come out of his feet. You can connect it anywhere. You can make it go anywhere else, but you definitely need the feet. So don't start here and then try to figure out how to get it in there. All right, and then come out and bring this down wherever. If you start narrow, you just add a little bit to it at the base. That will bring it into the. And if I want this to attach to my tree a little more, I'll bring a line kind of on it like that. Okay, like that. Maybe a little more black right in here too. Alright, and then I'll go take it out like this. And then, this one has a little piece that branches up here. Okay, kind like that. And then I'll do one more that I think you ought to have, and then if you need to add more, you can go ahead and do it. The other thing you want to have is probably one that actually crosses the moon. It doesn't necessarily have to go behind his head and come out, because that could be a little bit distracting, but a piece that kind of crosses here or crosses in the front, I'm going to do one from the back, and that will, it just is kind of an interesting effect to have it cross over the moon. We see pictures like that, and it's just so fascinating to see that, craggy, bare limb crossing the moon. It's like you can do it right in your picture. All right. So I'm going to imagine that maybe there's another branch somewhere out here, and I'm going to come up, and then I want to bring it across my moon, something like that. And then maybe I'll have to branch it out here, maybe like that. Okay. So what I'll do is start here, and I'll make this a little thicker as I get to the side of the paper. And then these, I can start there, and I'll make it a little bit thicker as it comes in. Alright, and this one may be a little bit thicker, but not too close to its head. I don't want to be competing with my crow. My crow to win gets the most attention award. Alright. So if you can deal with what's happening now, it's only going to get better as soon as we start coloring the crow in, so. So I'm going to do that with the crow down here. So if you kind of missed what happened up there, you can watch it again. And start on the side. And with this, the trick is, my crow's going to be pretty black. If probably, yeah, I don't think this, the only place it's gonna make a difference is when I put the branch across between his feet, that I wanna be able to see the branch, or to a certain degree, you don't have to see the whole branch for your brain to know that there's a branch there. If it starts on one side and comes out on the other, it's like we can probably connect the dots. So you're gonna put the piece in here, and then bring that down, get a little wider. There you go. Alright, and then I'm gonna bring that over the side, and there I can make it dark against the sky, like my sky a little bit. You know, when you're doing something in charcoal, what you're thinking, or pencil, you have to think about, if you were taking a black and white photograph, you know, how would I make sure that the things I needed to see were different shades of gray, not all the same shade of gray or shade of black, so that they just got all lost. And try, if you want, if you're really, you know, want to do a little extra, you know, take a few pictures, maybe a landscape, maybe some stuff around the house, and take your filters on your phone and look at them with black and white. And if it looks great and you can still see all the things you want to see, then you're getting a great range of value and you can see what's going on with that. But if the things that's most important that you want to see are your black cat against a dark blue blanket, and you're wondering why you can't see your cat well, it's like, well, you'll see that what you need to do is put your cat on a light colored blanket, and then you'll be able to see the shape anyway. That's a contrast. Okay? Let's see, I'm going to bring this guy, this one I'm going to do a little bit higher. You know, and some people make curvy branches, some people make, you know, bent little branches. I have seen a lot of branches, and it's always cool to see how everybody, it's kind of the same instructions, and then they all come out differently.
Oh.
That's cool.
2 rounds.
What happened?
Mary O'Neill just replied.
Oh.
That's secured, Veronica said.
Okay.
What is? Oh.
There we go. Alright, maybe I'll add a couple other ones in this one. So the other thing is too, is if you made some that are a little lighter and smaller, they're going to seem either farther away, or they're going to seem like, you know, or in some cases there's the world of branches that are all here, but there's also the branches that are going back into the sky. I mean, there might be some that are coming forward, but we're not dealing with that. But if you made them thinner, they can look like they're going back into space a little bit, if they're lighter too. Okay. And, you know, I guess maybe a rule too would be, you know, you draw one line and branch it. Draw another line, branch it. And then if everything you have, you've divided into 2, and they just keep getting smaller and smaller, so that'll work too. Let's see. Alright, maybe something down here, I didn't do this one. I don't know if I need anything down below. Alright, so far so good? Time to do the bird, get it all put together? Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
I guess so.
Is my mom ready?
I don't know if Mom was on here. I haven't seen her name pop up. Holly Shaw, hi from Madison. Arlene.
It's not turning the right way for Arlene.
No one is saying specifically
Okay.
anything.
Nobody said they had to wait. Well, no, they don't usually say that. Okay. So we're going to start coloring in. One of the things that will help, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of sort of a purpley blue, periwinkle blue on the chest. And that's one of the things when you're doing a black animal, your dog, your crow, what's another black animal?
A bear.
Cow.
Black bear. Is that, you know, how do you see the features? How do you see where the leg connects to the body? But what happens if you look at even your pet, you'll see that the black is all sorts of shades of black and gray. And in this case, another thing you can use is purple and light blue and things like that to do the changes. And this, what will happen if we get a little bit of light on the upper part here is that it will make the chest seem like it sticks out, like it's sort of catching a little bit of moonlight. Okay? So if you don't have to color it in as hard as you possibly can. You can leave a little bit, maybe on the tail to get a little bit of. But the darkest places are going to be kind of like right in the middle of his, down low like this. Okay? So you definitely want that in there nice and black. And, as much as anything you have that's dark, you can definitely use purple and dark blue in your blacks to make them sort of richer and have a little more vibrancy, and it's also just more fun, I think. Whenever you can get away with adding a color, why not? But I do have a tendency, I do a lot of black things, but...
Wait, Veronica's over at Grammy's house.
What?
I don't know, but she's taking pictures of her drawing art. Apparently she is doing it.
Oh. Well, that's a nice granddaughter-y thing to do. Okay. I'm sure she's wearing her mask and keeping her distance, though. Okay, one of the other things that happens with the bird is that it's feathers. And it will change the personality of your crow by whether or not it has a very smooth line on the outside or whether it has a little bit of wispiness to it. And I have seen both kinds, and they are fantastic. I'm not great at it, but a little bit. Some people make it look like it has been tumbled through a little mini tornado or something, and they look scraggly and dirty and aggressive, and it's really kind of funny. So you can always do that. And what you sort of do is you make your little strokes kind of go out and stop, kind of like what we do when we make the grass. And you can do that. If you hate it, if you didn't make them too big, you can always go back and color over it. But I think it's kind of cool. And the other thing you're going to find probably is that the connection in his neck is not quite so, he doesn't have quite such a shoulder. It's a little bit more of a blend from here to here. So all you do is you just kind of take that little corner out and kind of just smooth from here to here. Okay? And when you fill that in, he won't seem so much like he has a pokey little neck up there. Alright, I'm going to put some of this on here. And I do love it when anyone posts their pictures. That makes me super happy. And if you share the videos with me, that is really, really wonderful and makes me really happy. And I'm taking suggestions. I'm not sure when I'm going to stop doing this, but if you're interested and you like it, if it's just fun to have something, if you're home alone and you want to hear me talk for a little while at 1 o'clock, then just let me know you're out there, like it or whatever. If you want to leave a donation, it's Valerie Wallace-9 and there's a ticket page, and you can leave whatever you want, right, as little as $1, which is still, don't feel funny, because if everybody that watched left me $1, I'd be in pretty good shape. So, and it's not about that really anyway. Like I said, I just kind of want to know if this is getting boring to people or whether they're still into it. And then, of course, the playlist is on YouTube. And that kind of tallies up who's watching, so that's kind of a good place to watch them, but you can watch them on Facebook too. And there's over 40, so there's all kinds of different things you can choose from. And you can stop it. If you don't know how to do that, there's a little thing that looks like an equal sign on its side. And you push that, and it will stop, and then that equal sign will turn into a triangle, and then when you're ready to go again, you push the triangle again. That's go.
Video playing
stop.
101.
Hmm?
It's a video playing.
It reminds me of when you guys were little and I wanted to sleep in, and I would have your kicks in a strainer. They had to have their kicks in a great big strainer, because if they had it in a cup, they'd spill it all over the place. So I gave them a great big bowl with a little bit in it. and it would be ready, and their like little juices would be in the fridge ready to go. This is my twins, and then I would say, and then Barney would be in the video player, and you had to press. I don't know what the on button looked like, but they press the on button and then push the triangle button, and then they could sit and watch it, and I could sleep. Yep. It was a big change in my motherhood days to when they were big enough to turn on their own TV and get their juice out of the fridge. Okay.
I don't know what to do about my branch.
What happened?
My branch is so dark. I'm not able to see it.
Well, just blend a lighter color in it.
No.
Also, if you're thinking, I'm getting myself together to figure out how to do a Zoom paint and sip for people and their friends. With kind of a limited amount of like paint supplies that you would need. So, if you're interested in something like that, give me a message because I'm sorting out how we can do it and make it easy. All right. Let me get this guy colored in, and we'll look at the beak. Oh, the highlights in the beak, right? Am I forgetting anything else? I hate when I get done and I forget something. Forget the tentacles in my lobster. Got the white water in my fish. Some other things too. Who knows what else? So, in this case, I can just, I wish I had my little paper thing.
What?
My paper stub. That'll work alright though. The eye looks funny though.
Wait. I haven't even gone there yet.
You don't really have to have much for an eye. You just need some sense that there's some light up there because that didn't work great. Did it?
I mean, it looks fine to me.
Yeah. Alright, so this one, I'm going to smudge that and put a little bit of, where is it? To them. Alright, well I don't have any white, but I'll take this. Take a little bit of white on the top. But I'll sharpen this guy up a little bit. Because the beak is important, right?
It is important.
Okay, like
sure.
that. Again, it doesn't.
Is it here?
And then what I want to do is take the blue. And I'm going to work kind of up and down because that's the way the feathers go, and bring a little bit of a highlight in here like this. And maybe here.
You're behind.
Okay. And
yeah, I've done this one twice. Both of them have been.
okay. And then if I need to, I'll put a little bit more black in.
She said that it would come out good for everyone.
This one also has a little
You
bit
got
on
the
its
gown?
face too.
That's just like right after you texted thing. There was like a dad and his kid playing soccer. I was like,
Alright, and down here,
I was going like 3 miles an hour down.
so I will post the new pictures this afternoon, somewhere this evening. And I do have a request for Elsa, the princess. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can do a nice easy one for that for the kids. And that is what's going on. Oh! Oh no.
We lost her. What are you looking
Alright,
for?
I was going to erase something. I was going to erase in here, but I can't. I just lost my eraser. Alright, so I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and join me again. It's great. It makes me feel great, and so as long as there's somebody out there that wants to watch, then I'm happy to do it. And I'll give you a close-up so you can, I'll get it, so that you can see, you can hold this so you can finalize this guy up. This is probably hard to see from where you are. Oh, hey, Alicia, Jennifer, David, Amy, and the boys. She got some cute boys. Sue, I miss you, Sue. Hey, Holly. Let's see. Arlene, Dennis, Donna. Oh, Robin. Oh, Tony. Jenny. All kinds of people. Everybody likes the crow. This one's kind of a short, fat one. I need a little longer tail on that guy. Yeah. All right. Hey, and Ruby Jean's watching. I'm no kidding. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Be good to yourself. Try to put up with the people that are around you. And if you're alone, my heart goes out to you.